variety of knowledge in our research, we focus how to use one standard method in appropriate context. Okay, so and in most of the research, it is basically focused on the mixed research, but you have the flexibility to choose whether you are going to totally on the quantitative research method or whether you are totally moving on the qualitative research method. Okay, so the decision to choose one particular method takes place from three different perspectives. Okay, three different perspectives that you need to understand. One is basically from the type of data they collect. Yes, the quantitative research method collect the numerical data. Okay, numerical data, whereas qualitative research method collect the data in terms of text or explanation. Okay, some opinion, perception, narrative story. So the one way that differentiate between these two methods is the data that they collect. Okay, type of or nature of data that they collect. And now basically second is that the type of data collection method. Okay, since in quantitative research method, it is principally associated with the survey and experiment. Okay, survey and experiment, because it is used by the natural science, which focus on the collection of quantitative data analysis using quantitative research method. And so that data collection method, okay, for the quantitative data, the data collection method that is best suited is the observation, structure observation, and the questionnaire. Okay, so that is the two data collection method that focus on these two method. But by saying that, okay, one is the proper definition and another is the data collection method that helps you to select the appropriate research method. But that not be the always the case, because in a survey, if you choose the survey strategy, okay, nowadays researchers are using different method, they are modifying their method, technique, strategy, and so on according to their need and necessity. Okay, so if they use the survey as the research strategy also, since survey totally focus on quantitative research method, yes, and it used to collect the quantitative data. But nowadays, if you are going to collect some of the open-ended questions on that questionnaire to collect the qualitative data, that is also happening. Okay, so to give that flexibility, to give that flexibility and to collect the qualitative data as well as quantitative data, when you use the survey which totally focus on quantitative research method, that totally focused on the mixed research method. Okay, mixed method, that is combination of quantitative and qualitative. But by saying that the weight of quantitative research method is always more than that of the qualitative research method in the case of experiment and survey. If you try to collect some qualitative data also, then the weight of quantitative research method will always be more than that of a qualitative research method. Just for certain explanation part, just for certain reasoning, you might ask for the open-ended question to get the opinion of the participant or other organization. Okay, so for that is the reason you might use. So it is basically according to your research question. Okay, it's according to your research question, if you simply say what is the percentage of students that are being affected by mental excessive use of technology. Okay, if that is the research question, then that research question can fully be obtained, that answer for that particular question can be obtained using the quantitative research method. Okay, but if you add certain questions like the why the students are being affected, or how they perceive the information technology in day-to-day life. Okay, how they see the information technology in day-to-day life, whether they are aware of that thing or not. If you want that kind of knowledge from your participant, then it simply seek the knowledge or the opinion from your participant. Okay, so that can be commonly used as a mixed method in your research. So the research question that you have formulated decide your method. The types of data that you are going to collect will decide your method. Types of data collection method that you are going to use, that will decide the type of method. And you have the flexibility to move from the mono method to mixed method. Okay, uh, if you write in proposal, if you write only the mono method, and if while you execute your research you see that the mixed method will result more robust finding on my research, then you can switch to the mixed method on your research. Okay, that is the thing. So basically the research method basically separate from the type of data collection method and the analysis method that we choose. Okay, that guide us to choose in our research method. So basically, the research choice depends on the research question. All others are dependent on your research question, but also simply the research question, the WS question that you have formulated relate whether you are going to collect the qualitative data or whether you are going to collect quantitative data. If you are going to collect both kind of data in single research, then you say that you are going to use mixed method. If you are going to collect only one type of data, single data in your research that is related with your research question, then you can say either you are going to use the mono method quantitative or either you are going to use mono method qualitative. Okay, that is the case. So are you clear on this part? Research method, it is directed by the type of data collection method and research question that you have formulated. Okay, are you clear on this part?
Sir,
Yeah,
multi
so
method कसरी भन्दैन
कुन चाहिँ?
सर multiple this sir method को
Multiple method, yes, multiple method means here is two branch. Okay, one is the mixed method that you understand. Now you want multi-method quantitative and multi-method qualitative.
सर यो multi र mix मा चाहिँ के फरक हो
Okay, multi-method means in mixed method you are combinedly using both. Yes, both qualitative and quantitative. But in multi-method, in single research you are going to use more than one times the quantitative and more than one times the qualitative, if that is the case. I will give you one example. Okay, I will give you one example regarding the multiple method. You understand the mixed method combining the qualitative and quantitative method? Yes. Now
yes
regarding the multi-method. Okay, so multi-method quantitative studies, suppose you say that I use the multi-method quantitative study, then you are going to use more than once to collect the data. Okay, that means the time horizon that we are going to discuss will be the longitudinal. Suppose you have the 6 month duration of time and in first 2 months you collect one type of data using quantitative research method. Okay, suppose the example of that data collection method might be the questionnaire. Okay, you use the questionnaire and collect the data one time, and again after 2 months you have the 6 month duration. Again after the 2 month, that is the 4 month after starting of your research, again you use the quantitative research method to collect the data, and that quantitative research method and the data collection might be observation. Okay, so multiple times you are going to collect the data, and if you use the different data collection method or the similar data collection method in different contexts, then that is the multi-method quantitative. More than once, if you use more than once the data collection method or the research, apply the research method in your research, then it is called the multi-method quantitative study. Okay, so the series period of time, suppose somebody wants to study about the reaction. Okay, reaction, chemical reaction or something like that in a certain period of time. They collect the different type of data based upon their time duration, depending on time. Okay, okay, so that kind of data can be act as the multi-method quantitative. What we do in the experiment, we see one day or we gap the 2 days weekly, we see the certain changes on that reaction or certain changes on the particular thing or phenomena, then that is represented at multi-method quantitative, multiple time, and that will be guided by more than one method or the single data collection method. Okay, are you clear on this part? Similar way the qualitative also. Are you clear, Anush?
yes sir
Now moving on to the time horizon. Okay, so there is two time horizon: cross-sectional study and longitudinal study. If you use, okay, if you use the mono method and mixed method, mixed method, then you are going to collect. If you are going to collect once in your research period, if you are going to collect data once in your research period, then it is called the cross-sectional study, only once. Okay, since multi-method focus on longitudinal study, more than one time the collection of data during the period of the research, time period of the research, that is the longitudinal study. We mainly focus on cross-sectional study because within this 3 months duration of time, we only collect data only once. Yes, and based on that collected data, we analyze the findings. Okay, you can collect multiple times, but that multiple times, uh, suppose you say you start by screening. Okay, screening, you ask the certain level of question to the participant, again you separate that participant and ask another level of for that particular study. That might also act as the longitudinal study. Okay, more than once if you use the data collection method or the research method, then that is called the longitudinal study. Clear? It is dependent on the method. That multi method qualitative and multi method quantitative is associated with longitudinal study, and mono method and mixed method are basically, okay, mixed method can also be associated with longitudinal if you collect more than once. Okay, but mono method and mixed method in our context is associated with cross sectional study. That is just the time horizon that you said. Okay, whether you are doing the longitudinal study or whether you are doing the cross-sectional study, that will indicate the duration or frequency of data collection in your research. Okay, are you clear on this part? Time horizon simply it indicates the number of times that you are going to collect the data. If single time, cross-sectional; multiple times, longitudinal. Okay, so important consideration for research design. Okay, so to give the credibility of the research finding, or to take the credibility and to make that research validate. Okay, and as you can say, you are going to make the informed decision in each and every stage. You see the term informed decision or informed context or something like that in your research, because that means you need to aware. Okay, if you use the certain method, certain technique, certain strategy, then you should provide the logical explanation of what is the proper strategy that you are going to choose and why you are choosing that strategy, or what is the research method that you are going to choose in your research and why you are choosing this. So there is always some logical explanation for the step that you take in your research. Okay, and that explanation should always be related with the research question, research objective, and overall philosophy of the research. Okay, so that part will guide you to explain whether your research is reliable, whether your research is valid, or whether your research outcome can be generalized or not. Okay, since generalization means accepting the outcome by number of population, or it can be applied to the similar context or organization. Okay, that 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 gain the validity of the data. Okay, so basically we focus on that kind of thing. And basically as we have discussed, it is generality mostly appropriate on deductive approach, on quantitative data, but also it can be generalized in mixed method also. Okay, though you use the qualitative research method combinedly with the quantitative research method, it is best to use the mixed method to obtain the generalizedly of the outcome also. Okay, you should not be worried when you use the qualitative. You might think that whether I can generalize my outcome or findings or not result, then that is not the case with the mixed method. Okay, that is not the case with mixed method. You can simply generalize the outcome. And this reliability and validity, we'll study this on tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. Okay, today we'll study the sampling part, and we are remaining two more classes, two more chapters, sorry. One is associated with reliability and validity, and another is the data collection method, data commercial and technique. So that basically two chapter we need to study in this part. So you'll understand this reliability and validity on that section also.
Sure.
Yes,
So this general legibility.
general. Yes.
Yeah. So one more time, please.
Okay, so generality, I will give one example. Okay, I will give one example and you might understand that part. Suppose you do your research on ISMT college. Okay, you do your research in ISMT college, and um, you selected the only the student or only the friend of your class to take part on your study or the research. So at that time, the findings you made. Okay, suppose you have selected the topic excessive use of information technology affect the mental health of a student, and you selected the person based on your convenience within around you. So at that time, suppose you find that okay, 70% of the student that are being affected mentally by excessive use of technology. So that is the findings of your research. Then is that applicable to Islington College or is that applicable to British College or not? if that is applicable to Islington College, if that is applicable to British College or some British level degree, some category that you hold for your research, for your college, if that is applicable there, though you do not have conducted your research, then if that is possible, that is called the general liability. Okay, the findings of your research, if that can be applicable to other similar context or scenario, then that is called the general liability. Okay, so how we can make that generality? Simply we take the sample, 10 sample from the SMT college, 10 sample from the British college, 10 sample from Islington college and other IT related college, suppose. Then you have selected the representative sample from different IT college having the same different characteristics or same characteristics they bear. Yes, so whenever the findings that you have obtained from that research, if new British college or some college that which have the British degree in Pokhara or Chittagong, that might be applicable there. Yes, the research or finding that you have obtained from this representative sampling, you might apply the findings for that of that research to other contexts or similar contexts for the same scenario. Okay, so that is the generality. Do you understand? Generality, generally focus on that part. Yes or no, Rahul?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is it applicable to other on similar context or scenario?
Okay. Okay.
Simple that. So how we can make that outcome generalizable means, if you select your sample representative, if you are not biased, if you simply collect the data from your own convenience, then that does not act as the representative sampling. So in next chapter we are going to study the sampling part, which mainly focus based on your need. Okay, whether you need that generality or not, it is your it is the necessity of your research. But what we say that if the outcome or findings is accepted by large number of population, then we can say your research is valid. Yes, if the outcome or finding of your research is accepted by large number of population or organization, then we can say your research is valid. Okay, so for that objective, we need to tense our research outcome to be generalizable. But if you totally do the qualitative research and study the certain society or community, okay, for a specific reason, then the outcome from that study cannot be generalized. Okay, so that might be your necessity of the research at that time. Okay, that might be the necessity of the research at that time. But in our context we have flexibility. Flexibility, and we can choose our research method quantitative so that our research outcome will be generalized. Okay, since we follow the natural science branch of the natural science, we have flexibility that, because in social science they cannot explain, they cannot show mathematical result of the emotion or social behavior or something like that, so they are constrained by that limitation, so they are explaining the phenomenon. But in natural science we have the statistical tool, we have the mathematical analysis method or some other thing that we can represent our data in terms of quantity, and that quantity can be generalized to other contexts. Okay, so that is the only the part. So we focus on that thing. So in research design ethics, okay, we have already covered this part, but also if you want to write your research design ethics, if there is any ethical concern that arises within your research, then you can write that part on this research design method. Okay, research design chapter, you can write that. Simply focus on that the design should not subject the research population to embarrassment, harm, or other material disadvantage. Okay, that is the thing. So in this way we end the chapter 6. Okay, formulating the research design topic, and you can able to now design your research according to the research onion. Though we left to study the 3 component. Okay, we are moving on to the core fundamental part of the research, which is the data collection and analysis. So before the data collection method, what you need to understand about the sample that you are going to take, or from where you are going to collect the data, you need to be sure on that part. Yes, after that only you are going to select the method, though your selection method will be guided by the research choice and the research strategy, but also from where you are going to collect the data and what can be your sample size or sample population. Okay, which technique that we are going to use to pick that sample, that will be necessary, before the collection of collection of data. Okay, so for that reason also we are going to study the sampling. Okay, selecting a sample part. So, and now the selecting the sample part. Okay, we have already covered on your computing project also. Now the 3 chapter, selecting the sample, reliability and validity, and data collection method, that we have already discussed on the computing project. Okay, and that we have already discussed on computing project, whether you are whether you remember or not. Okay, when I say something, it might be a recall for you. Okay, so it might not be difficult for you to understand this 3 chapter. Okay, so up to this point, up to this research design part, if you have any confusion, you can ask me. Okay, because from next week you will be given 20 to 30 hours of independent study time. Okay, independent study time. So at that time you need to prepare your proposal and prepare your presentation, and you have to consult me in each and every time when you feel difficulty or you have certain uh, changes in your research. Okay, and certain fact that you incorporate while you write your proposal, certain new literature that you found or something like that. Okay, and you should discuss with me that I can provide you the guidance to write the proposal. Okay, so from next week you will be set to independent study, and after you complete that part, okay, after you complete, though the deadline of the assignment will be some far more. Okay, suppose the deadline for assigning will be 2 months, then 1 month I will give you for independent study, and after that 1 month we'll conduct the presentation. Okay, we'll conduct the individual presentation. Okay, so that is the context. So though after 1 month, if some of the student does not complete, then they should provide the recording of their presentation. Okay, recording of their presentation, but it is necessary to submit the presentation and proposal for that research, for this assignment requirement. Okay, after 1 month we'll do that part. Though our theoretical class will be completed in this week, your course will complete only after submission of your proposal. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now moving on to the next chapter, which is selecting the sample. We are on learning outcome 2. Okay, whether you remember or not, if you see the syllabus, okay, we are on the learning outcome 2. Okay, learning outcome 2 is conducting the research part. So before conducting that part, you need to understand and the method that we are going to use, the data collection strategy, data collection method, research strategy, research design, and so on. Okay, that is necessary for your research. So these things need to be considered clearly before execution of the research. Okay, up to the data collection method, you should be very clear in proposal part. Okay, after that we'll discuss based on your data, based on your objective, how you are going to use the analyze. It is something different for individual. Okay, some might think that your research outcome can be generated or represented by using statistical tools. Some might use some graph tables or something like that. Okay, according to your research necessity, we will analyze that part. But up to the data collection method, the core fundamental part of the research, as you can see on the research onion, is the collection of the data. Okay, so for collection of data, which method is appropriate, you might understand from now. If you are clear on the research strategy and research method, you can clearly distinguish between the types of data collection. Okay, we are distinguishing, but from where we are going to collect that data, that need to be fixed. Okay, before the data collection method, that need to be fixed. So selecting the sample, as you can see, the you have to write this part. Okay, in the structure that I have given to you in methodology chapter, I have given you to screenshot the 2 slides which indicate what you need to write on methodology chapter. Okay, in methodology chapter, what you need to write. So for that also there is the section where you need to specify the sample. Okay, which technique that we are going to use to select the sample. And basically we are not moving so deeply on this part. Okay, because based on your necessity only, based on your necessity, because for your level it is not possible to collect the 100, 200 or 400 sample. Okay, so basically based on your opinion, convenience or and this current scenario, okay, current scenario, we you can collect about 20, 30, 40, more than 20 respondent if you are going to use the questionnaire as the data collection method. But if you are going to use the observation, then you have to define the parameter of your observation, and the observation of sample might also can be more than 20 or 30, okay, basically. And for if you totally select the qualitative research method, then you can select your sample based on your convenience or based on your purpose, okay. That is the another part. So in research how you can obtain the best samples using different technique, then that answer for that question will be the combination that we are going to study here, okay. There is, as you know, now let's move on this sample and I will discuss that question, okay. Our main target is which technique gives us the better result on the research, okay. There is no one single technique that will give you the better result, okay. Based on your convenience, based on your suitability, based on your objective, you choose the method or technique in your research every time, okay, whatever it is. So selecting a sample to study, it should represent the full set of cases in a way, okay. Cases means the study under your study, okay? The sample under your study in the way that is meaningful and which we can justify, okay. Suppose that means representative sample always focus on representative parameter, okay, representative context, because the generalization that we are going to achieve can only be obtained if your sample are representative, okay. That is the case. And need for sampling, it would be impractical for you to survey the entire population. Your budget constraint prevent you from surveying the entire population. Since you can see the term survey, though the survey in sampling, okay, sampling is most frequently used on survey because uh, it it is way more used, but that does not mean you are not going to use sampling on the experiment or in other part of strategy or the resource method, okay. You can use that part, but most frequently the survey is entangled with the sampling, okay. Your time constraint prevent you from surveying the entire population. That means studying the entire population, you can see from that perspective, okay. So suppose you are going to study the organization related with IT which uses the AI, okay, and it is not possible for you to collect the data from each and every organization that use AI, okay. So there is certain parameter that you need to use to filter down the organization and select only the limited number of that organization to take part on your research, okay. So that parameter, that criteria you set, and based on that criteria you select the sample, okay. Sampling is that part. If whole population is covered, then what we call that term, can you say? It is impractical for you to survey the entire population. If somebody that try to study the entire population, then what we call?
Census.
Census, yes. Census, where it is survey the entire population, study the entire population, then that is the census, okay. So for our reason also, for selecting certain things also, because in a class, if you are studying about the digital well-being and their effect of excessive use of technology on student mental health, so no need to study the each and every person, okay. We can select the person based on the usage, okay. If you think that certain person uses of IT is more and certain person IT usage is very less, you can select from these two category, okay. You can define that category, okay, so that you can differentiate between the effect, okay, so that you can differentiate between the effect with not using the information technology and mental health relation and excessive using of information technology and mental health. So you need to be very careful, okay, while selecting, because if you study the whole population, it takes your time. Also the valid reason that you might find might be difficult, because analyzing the whole population or analyzing the sample, might result in the same scenario, but what is takes more cost and time, okay. So for that reason also, and there should be certain technique that you need to use, okay, based on your research topic. Since in previous example, excessive use of technology means, if you can separate, if you know, okay, certain person or certain friend of your class, they use technology excessively, If you think that, then you need to select from that part, okay, select from that sample, or you can use some mathematical formula, okay. You do not use that kind of thing, you can use the mathematical formula to select the sample, okay. So there are two ways you can select. Yes, somebody who is sitting next to you, you can select that also. You somebody that might be sitting other and using some mathematical formula, you can select the some bench wise or desk wise or row wise, something like that. So mathematical formula can be used to select the sample. You can do in both way, okay. And the things that we do, okay, using the mathematical formula probability, then that is called the probability sampling that we are going to discuss. And based on your convenience or purpose, if you are going to select the sample, then that is called the non-probability, okay. And what result the best sampling? Combination of both, okay, combination of both. So moving on to this part, which is the population target, okay, target population sample and individual case or element under your study, okay. That is the people, that might be the people, that might be the organization, or that might be any object under your study, okay. So population, simply the population on that area or certain thing, okay. And there is another is the target population, which is also called sampling frame. Suppose you IT organization, okay, or the organization only, okay. So organization only is the population under your study, okay, who are registered on the Company Act, that are can act as an organization. You are working on effect of information technology on organization, if that is the case, okay. Just I'm giving that example, effect of information technology on productivity of organization, if that is the case. Then first, organization indicates sort any organization which works to deliver the service, that is the case, okay. And second is the second target. You can see there is the target population. The target population is the sampling frame which you decide based on your objective, that is the organization. I'm just focusing on that organization which uses the AI for their productivity, to AI to increase their productivity, simply, okay, information technology for their productivity or anything. That is called the target population. I am filtering down, okay. I am filtering down from the total population to my sampling frame or target population. So that target population also is in high number, okay. So how I am going to select from my target population or sampling frame to select the appropriate sample? I need to focus on that part, okay. So for that, what I need to be fixed, I need what I need number. First, I need the sampling frame size, okay. The sampling frame size is the target population, okay. And another I need is the sampling number or sample number, okay. How much sample that I need to take from that target population, that number, okay. Another is what I need is the technique, in what way that I'm going to pick a sample from that target population, okay. So you need to understand this clearly, okay. There is the target population, which is the sampling frame under which your sample lies, okay, your sample lies. And what you need to fix, the sampling frame size. There is the sampling frame size that you need to understand. How many organizations are there which uses information technology or AI for increasing the productivity of an organization. So among that also, uh, how you are going to select your sample, okay. So the things that you need to be clear is the sampling frame or the target population, number of target population. Another is the size of the sample that you need for your research, that you need to be very clear, okay. And another is can you say what we need, how you are going to draw now? You have fixed the target sampling frame, you have fixed the sampling size. Now how I can make that sampling size? Suppose there is the target population of 100 organization which uses the information technology or AI for their day-to-day activities or to increase the productivity of an organization. Among that 100, what I need, okay, I plan to take the 10 sample, okay. That I need to take the 10 representative sample from that target population or sampling frame. I decided on that number. So how I can select that 10? There are different techniques that I can apply to select that 10 sample from that target population or sampling frame, okay. So that technique will be indicated by the types. Okay, that technique will be indicated by the types. Are you clear up to this part? Are you clear? Whether you remember or not, we have already covered this on computing project also, but also the previous example that I've given. Do you understand that point? Yes. Are you clear, Rahul?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now moving on to the probability sampling. Okay, we are fixed on the number, sample size. We are fixed on the target population. That target population you can, or the sampling frame you can obtain from your study. Okay, and that sampling size. Okay, we are not discussing here the formula for deciding the sampling size, which we can obtain on probability sampling. Okay, if you use the probability sampling, then the number of sample size. Okay, that number of sample size need to be obtained from the mathematical formula. Okay, I will provide one screenshot of formula that can be used. Okay, but that is dependent on the response rate. You have to calculate the response rate, how many of that sample will respond. Okay, and based on the error, if there is any error, okay, margin error that associated, or confidence rate that is associated on that sample size or sampling frame, based on that only you can decide the number of sample. Okay, number of sample for that particular set. But in our context, we simply select more than 20 sample. Okay, whether it is probability or non-probability, we select the more than 20 sample for our research. Okay, it is best to select the more than 20 sample. Okay, so that will be enough for us in our context. What we are going to do, we are going to understand only. Okay, we are going to understand how we can use the research method on that particular context or scenario, that the title that we have chosen. Okay, so the certain context which takes longer duration of time, we are skipping that part, and you can study by yourself. And in most of the case it is not necessary. Most of the case it is not necessary to generate the sample size. Okay, and generate the sample size basically based on the need of the research and whether you can prove the generality and validity of that research. No need to show the number of that sample. Basically based on your convenience, based on your suitable mathematical formula or size, you can take the number of sample. Okay, so with the probability sampling, which is the representative sampling, that means with probability samples, the chance or the probability of each case being selected from the target population is known and usually equal for all cases. And probability sampling is associated with the survey and experiment research strategy. Okay, it is the representative sampling, and it is mostly associated with survey and experiment because it uses the mathematical formula, that's the formula of probability, to draw the sample from each target population. So do you understand my point, what that probability sampling means? Suppose in the previous example, okay, there is the sample, you can say 1. This is the one sample that I need to take. The probability of this sample is 1 upon target population, and also the probability of next sample is 1 upon target population, number of target population. So each sample has the equal probability. Yes, each sample has equal probability of being selected. So that is called the probability sampling. In your class, suppose in your class there are 30 students, and if you simply choose the probability sampling to select the 20, okay, and you need to select the 20 sample, or you need to select 10 sample from that 30 students, and you simply use the technique probability sampling. What you need to do then, you need to use 1 upon 30, that each student is being selected will be 1 upon 30, and you select from that student. Okay, you can use the random sampling, a systematic random sampling, cluster sampling, or stratified sampling, any of the sampling technique. Okay, so this is the probability sampling. Another is, do you understand my the term probability sampling?
Yes, sir.
Yes, there is a equal probability for all cases or element being selected. Okay, we are just discussing about the probability, and in non-probability sampling it is not known. It is not known the element or case that will be being selected from the target population. It is not known. Okay. So means you are not going to use any mathematical formula on non-priority sampling. So priority sampling, what you need to do, you need to identify the suitable sampling frame. As you can see in the figure, yes, you need to decide on this target population or the sampling frame. Again, you have to decide on the suitable sample size. This suitable sample size, you have to decide on that part. Okay, I have given that number more than 20. So based on convenience, at least you have to select the 20 sample, and upper is your own interest, based on your interest. Okay, you can select that sample size. And sampling frame, it is dependent on certain parts. Suppose you are working on to find the IIT based on automatic vehicles, then you can your sampling frame might be the different organization which supply or the different service center who work for the automatic vehicles. Okay, that might be the sampling frame, and based on that sampling frame, you are going to collect the data. Okay. So for that organization part, it might be difficult for you to collect more than 20. So if in that case, you can provide the justification why you choose that thing. If there is no more, if you select all on your target population, there are five organizations or 5 service centers which provide the services and automatic vehicles. If that is the thing, then you are going to collect data from all 5. Then you can simply say that the number of available sampling frame and sample size are less, so I am using that number. Okay, you should provide that reason. That will be okay for that case. Okay, if there is no more sampling frame or no more sampling set, then what we can do? Okay, we can simply select that thing and conduct our study. Okay, but for individuals and certain organization, if there is any, then the sample size should be more than 20. Okay, and you have to select the most appropriate sampling technique and select the sample. That means there are different sampling technique. On priority sampling also, we are going to discuss that, and you have to use according to your necessity and check that the sample is representative of the target population. You have to check that the sample that I have selected represent the target population. You need to confirm that thing. Okay, in probability sampling. So the priority sampling technique, we study the 4 techniques: simple random sampling, systematic random sampling, stratified random sampling, and cluster random sampling, and multi-stage sampling. That is for your homework or your self-study, though that is not necessary in our context, so I have not included on this slide. Okay, so these 4 sampling technique will be enough in our context. Okay, in simple random sampling, just called the random sampling, involves you selecting the sample at random from sampling frame using either the computer or the random tables. So for this, you need to do is to number each of the case in your sampling frame with a unique number. The first case is number 0, the second case 1, and so on. Selecting the case using random number until your actual sample size is reached. Whether you remember this part or not, what it says? Are you clear on this part? You have to number. Okay, suppose let's see this previous figure. Suppose what you need to do, if you are going to use the random sampling, the sample size you number 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, and you are going to select the 2 sample from this 2 sample. Okay, suppose sorry this is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. 7 is the sample size. So how you are going to draw this 7 sample from this target population? You are going to number each of the target population from 1 to it last, means 1 2 3 4 5 7. Okay, 30. So from this 30 sample, you are going to select 7. So how you can do? You can use the random number generator. That random number generator will generate 7 different random number. So 7 different random number might be 1, 7, 13, 17, 18, or 21, 39, 29, something like that. The random number. Okay. So based on that random number, you select the sample. You decide the sample size, and computer or random number generator or table can be used to generate that sample. Clear? Are you clear on this part or not? It is simple. Okay, it simply says you have to number and you have to use some random number generator. You can do manually or automatically. Okay, that is the case. And you define the sample size, and that will help you to give the random number for you. Okay, suppose you select the sample size of 7, that will generate the 7 different random number, and you select that 7 different random number as a sample for your research. Okay, if you have any confusion, you can simply unmute yourself and ask me. Okay, I'm moving. So in probability, another is the systematic random sampling. In random sampling, you say randomly, you select the sample from random order. But in systematic random sampling, what you need to specify the first case. Okay, first case, and another sample will be defined by the sampling fraction. Suppose there are the 100 sample, and if you are going to select the 10, then the sampling fraction will be 10 upon 100, 1 upon 10. So first you have to select the one case, and the next case will be 10 after that first case, because we need to add that sampling fraction on that previous case and move on. Yes, suppose you start from the 5. Okay, you start from the 5, then the next sample will be 15, the next sample will be 25. Okay, because we have the sampling fraction of 1 upon 10. We need to decide that sampling fraction, and based on that sampling fraction, we need to select our sample. Clear on this part? And sampling fraction, actual sample size by total population or sampling frame. Okay, that you decide, and based on that.
So,
Yes.
so what is that after calculate? Number, select, calculate, and select subsequent cases.
Sampling fraction. First, you need to number, that is enough. Okay, select the first using random number. You can select from any number. Okay, that is 1 to 100. एकदेखि 100 सम्म छ, तपाईले 10 वटा स्याम्पल सेलेक्ट गर्नु पर्यो. पहिला के गर्नुहुन्छ भने हरेक त्यो टार्गेट पपुलेसनलाई चाहिँ के गर्नुहुन्छ, नम्बरिङ गर्नुहुन्छ हैन. अनि फर्स्ट केस चाहिँ तपाईं र्यान्डमली जुन पनि चुज गर्नुहुन्छ. फर्स्ट केस चाहिँ जेनरली चुज गर्दा के गरिन्छ भने स्याम्पलिङ फ्र्याक्सनको कुनै बीचको नम्बर, जस्तै 100 जना छन्, 100 जनामा मैले 10 जना सेलेक्ट गर्नु पर्यो भने 10 अपन 100 भनेको मेरो स्याम्पलिङ फ्र्याक्सन हैन. 10 मा 1 सेलेक्ट गर्नु पर्यो भन्ने हो के त्यो भने हैन. 10 मा 1 सेलेक्ट गर्नु पर्यो भने फ्र्याक्सन भनेको त्यही त हो नि हैन. 10 जना मात्रै 1 जना मैले सेलेक्ट गर्नु पर्यो, त्यसको रेशियो त्यो हुन्छ. त्यसपछि मैले के गर्छु भने त्यो 1 देखि 10 सम्म कुनै एउटा नम्बर मैले 5 सेलेक्ट गरे र्यान्डमली. 5 भनेको 1 देखि 100 सम्म नम्बर गरेको थिए मैले. पहिलो केस चाहिँ 5, जसको नम्बर 5 छ त्यसलाई सेलेक्ट गरे भने दोस्रो स्याम्पल चाहिँ के गर्छु, स्याम्पलिङ फ्र्याक्सन एड गर्नु पर्यो नि त. भनेको मैले कति एड गर्छु, 10 एड गर्छु के हैन. 10 एड गर्दा चाहिँ के गर्छु भने 5 पछि 15, 15 पछि 25. त्यो सिस्टमेटिक वेमा रन हुन्छ भन्नु खोज्छ. त्यसरी बुझ्नुभयो. अनि त्यो स्याम्पलिङ फ्र्याक्सन भनेको मैले स्याम्पल सेलेक्ट गर्छु डिभाइड बाइ मेरो टार्गेट पपुलेसन के, त्यति भन्नु खोज्छ. मैले कतिमा कति सेलेक्ट गर्नु पर्यो भन्नु मात्रै खोज्छ के. 100 जना व्यक्ति छन्, 100 जनामा मैले 10 जना सेलेक्ट गर्नु पर्यो भनेदेखि मैले सिस्टमेटिक र्यान्डम स्याम्पलिङ युज गर्दा स्याम्पलिङ फ्र्याक्सन कसरी क्याल्कुलेट गर्छु, 100 मा 10 जना निकाल्न, 10 जनामा 1 जना सेलेक्ट गर्नु पर्यो हो कि भन्नु त. 10 मा 1 सेलेक्ट गर्नु पर्यो, रेशियो त्यस्तो हुन्छ. भनेपछि 10 मा 1 सेलेक्ट गर्दा त म 1 10 यसरी गरेर जान्न नि सक्छु हैन. कुनै र्यान्डम नम्बर गरेर 2 12 22 गरेर नि जान्न सक्छु. एउटा फर्स्ट केस तपाईले आफूले सेलेक्ट गर्ने, अर्को भनेको सिस्टमेटिकमा त्यो फ्र्याक्सनलाई एड गर्दै जाने, अनि त्यसरी स्याम्पल सेलेक्ट गर्ने. That is the systematic.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So moving on to this stratified. Okay, stratified is the modification of the random sampling which you divide the target population into 2 or more relevant and significant strata. That strata means group. Okay, based on one or number of attribute, and in effect your sampling frame is divided into number of subset, and a random sample or the systematic random sample is then drawn from each strata or group. Consequently, the stratified random sampling shares many of these advantages and disadvantages of simple random or the systematic random sampling, since the main objective of stratified is separating in the subset. Okay, so to understand this part, you need to move here. यसमा चाहिँ के हुन्छ भन्देखि यो टार्गेट पपुलेसन छ नि, टार्गेट पपुलेसनमा अघि के गरेको थियो, नम्बरिङ गरेको थियो, हरेकलाई नम्बरिङ गरेको थियो, र्यान्डमली सेलेक्ट गरेको थियो पहिलोमा, अर्कोमा नम्बरिङ गरेको थियो, एउटा सिस्टमेटिक अर्डरमा सेलेक्ट गरेको थियो. अब थर्डमा के गर्यो भनेदेखि यो टार्गेट पपुलेसनलाई चाहिँ एउटा कुनै ग्रुपमा सेपरेट गर्ने के. जस्तो यो ग्रुप छ भनेदेखि नि, ग्रुप छ हैन, ग्रुप छ भने तपाईले के को आधारमा एउटा एट्रिब्युट सेलेक्ट गर्नुहुन्छ, एट्रिब्युट सेलेक्ट गर्नुहुन्छ, त्यो एट्रिब्युटको आधारमा. जस्तो मेल सिइओ र फिमेल सिइओ भएकोलाई छुटाउनु पर्यो भने सिम्पल एक्जाम्पल, एउटा अर्गनाइजेसन जसमा चाहिँ मेल सिइओ छन्, अर्कोमा फिमेल सिइओ छन् हैन. भनेपछि यसलाई गर्दा फिमेल सिइओ भएको एउटा ग्रुप बन्छ, मेल सिइओ भएको अर्को ग्रुप बन्छ है. एउटा एक्जाम्पल मात्रै. त्यसपछि तपाईको यसलाई नम्बरिङ गर्नुहुन्छ, नम्बरिङ गरेपछि त्यो र्यान्डम स्याम्पलिङ जस्तै गरी सेलेक्ट गर्ने. है त्यसरी गर्ने हो मात्र ग्रुप छुटाउनु पर्यो यसमा ग्रुप छुटाउँदा तपाईले आफ्नो क्यारेक्टरिस्टिक्स चाहिँ दिनु पर्यो र क्यारेक्टरिस्टिक्स दिँदाखेरि चाहिँ त्यो ग्रुपको मेम्बरहरू चाहिँ एउटै क्यारेक्टरिस्टिक भएको हुनु पर्यो के ग्रुपको मेम्बरभित्र चाहिँ एउटै क्यारेक्टरिस्टिक्सहरू चाहिँ हामी एउटामा राख्छौँ मेलहरू एउटामा तिनीहरू मेलको भित्र एउटै क्यारेक्टरिस्टिक्स सेयर गर्छ फिमेलको एउटामा तर यो दुईटा ग्रुप त फरक हो नि मेल र फिमेल त फरक हो किन भने त बेस्ड अन जेन्डर गर्दा दुईटा ग्रुप फरक हुन्छ भनेको दुईटा ग्रुपहरूको क्यारेक्टरिस्टिक डिफ्रेन्ट छ त्यो भित्रको मेम्बर सेम छ त्यो भएपछि तपाईँले के गर्नुहुन्छ त्यहीबाट सेलेक्ट गर्नुहुन्छ एउटा पार्ट सबसेट छुटाएको टार्गेट पपुलेसनलाई सबसेट छुटाएर अनि त्यो स्मल स्टार्टअप हो अहिले त मैले जम्मा दुईटा मात्रै भने तर एकदम सानो स्टार्टअप ग्रुपमा छुटाएर चाहिँ त्यो ग्रुपलाई नै नम्बर गर्ने अनि ग्रुपबाट चाहिँ तपाईँले के भने ऱ्यान्डम स्याम्पलर युज गर्ने किन ग्रुपमा सिमिलर भइसकेपछि त सबैलाई सेलेक्ट गर्नु पर्यो नि त एउटा मात्रै सेलेक्ट गरे नि भयो नि त हैन त्यस्तो ग्रुपमा किनभने सबैले एउटै क्यारेक्टरिस्टिक्स बियर गर्छन् भने त धेरैलाई सेलेक्ट गर्नु पर्दैन यस
सो त्यस्तो ग्रुप कसरी बनाउने भन्नुभयो
हो ग्रुप चाहिँ तपाईँको आफ्नो निड अनुसार जस्तो मानौँ न तपाईँको टार्गेट पपुलेसन एकदम धेरै छ हैन धेरै छ यो अर्गनाइजेसन आइटी अर्गनाइजेसन एकदम धेरै भयो मानौँ अब आइटी अर्गनाइजेसनमा नि तपाईँले के गर्न खोज्दै हुनुहुन्छ भनेदेखि मैले ऱ्यान्डम स्याम्पलिङ गर्दा धेरै जिगज्याग आउने भयो अब मैले के गर्छु आफ्नो निड अनुसार आइटी इन्फर्मेसन टेक्नोलोजी मात्र भन्दा एआई युज गर्नेलाई एउटा पार्ट गरिदिउँला आफ्नो नेसेसिटी अनुसार गर्ने त नि एआईलाई एउटामा गरौँला अर्को आइटीलाई एउटामा गरौँला अर्को चाहिँ प्रोग्रामिङ मात्रै गर्छ उसले केही पनि अटोमेसन युज गर्न अर्को ग्रुप गरौँला सबै गर्न त्यो ग्रुपभित्रको मेम्बरलाई त एउटै क्यारेक्टरिस्टिक्स बियर गरे नि त हैन पहिला सेलेक्ट गर्दा चाहिँ एआईकै जसले चाहिँ इन्फर्मेसन टेक्नोलोजी भने चाहिँ एआई युज गर्ने नै बढी सेलेक्ट गर्ने प्रोबेबिलिटी पनि थियो अथवा आइटी मात्रै सेलेक्ट गर्ने प्रोबेबिलिटी पनि थियो यस्तो गर्दाखेरि के भने मैले आइटी अर्गनाइजेसन जसले चाहिँ युज गर्छ भन्ने पार्टले हेर्दा सबैको रिप्रेजेन्टेटिभ गर्न सब ग्रुप छुट्याएँ भने त एआई युज गर्ने नि एउटा प्रोपोर्सनमा सेलेक्ट हुन्छ हैन आइटी युज गर्ने नि अर्को प्रोपोर्सनमा सेट हुन्छ अरू कुनै प्रोग्रामिङ युज गर्ने छ भने अर्को प्रोपोर्सनमा के हुन्छ सेलेक्ट हुन्छ हामीलाई त रिप्रेजेन्टेसन मात्र चाहियो त हो नि हैन त त्यसपछि मोर रिप्रेजेन्टेटिभ टार्गेट हामीले कसरी बनाउने भन्ने मात्रै प्र्याक्टिस गरायो के त्यसको लागि मात्रै बुझ्नुभयो क्लियर
सो टाइम कन्ज्युमिङ कुन चाहिँ हुन्छ होला सिम्पल कि स्ट्रेटिफाइड
उसमा भइहाल्छ टाइम कन्ज्युमिङ त स्ट्रेटिफाइड ग्रुप फर्म गर्नु पर्यो त्यसमा सेलेक्ट गर्नु पर्यो र्यान्डमै सबभन्दा र्यान्डम हुन्छ नि तपाईलाई
ग्रुप फर्म गरेर गरिराख्दाखेरि र सिम्बलमा पनि हामीले नम्बरिङ गर्दाखेरि एउटै टाइम लाग्छ जस्तो लागिरहेछ हो
होइन तपाईले ग्रुप फर्म गरेर र्यान्डम स्याम्पलिङ हाल्नु पर्यो फेरि हैन ग्रुप फर्म गर्नलाई एउटा सर्टेन ड्युरेसन त चाहियो नि हैन तर र्यान्डम गर्दाखेरि टोटल पपुलेसनलाई 1 to 100 भनेर नम्बरिङ गर्दै अनि र्यान्डमली पिक गर्दै के र्यान्डम नम्बर जेनेरेटबाट यो हुन्छ भनेर गर्दै सेल गर्छ र्यान्डम नम्बर त त्यहाँ भित्र युज मात्रै गर्ने पहिला ग्रुपमा छुटाउनु पर्ने काम त यो स्ट्रेटिफाइडमा चाहिँ के हुन्छ भने ग्रुप त फर्मेसन गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ के ग्रुप फर्मेसन गर्नलाई एउटा सर्टेन ड्युरेसन अफ टाइम त्यसपछि मात्र तपाईले हेर्नु त्यहाँ र्यान्डम स्याम्पलिङ अथवा सिस्टमेटिक र्यान्डम चाहिँ त्यहाँ युज गर्नुपर्छ त्यही भएर पनि यसले के भन्यो भने र्यान्डम र सिस्टमेटिक कुनै एडभान्टेज डिसएडभान्टेज छ भने स्ट्रेटिफाइड र्यान्डम स्याम्पलिङले त्यो बियर गर्छ भने हो के किनभने ग्रुपमा त फर्मेसनको लागि तपाईँले एट्रिब्युटहरू सेलेक्ट गर्नुहुन्छ हैन तर त्यो भित्रको मेम्बर सेलेक्ट गर्न त आइदर र्यान्डम स्याम्पलिङ अर सिस्टमेटिक र्यान्डम स्याम्पलिङ नै युज गर्नुहुन्छ त्यो भन्नुहुन्छ है इच अफ द स्ट्राटा भनेको छ नि त्यो ग्रुपबाट एकवटा सेलेक्ट गरेर जाने अनि फेरि ग्रुप घुम्छ एकदमै ग्रुप कम छ भनेदेखि मानौँ न मेल र फिमेल मात्रै छ 10 जना सेलेक्ट गर्नु पर्यो नि एउटा यहाँ गर्ने फेरि 2 यहाँ फेरि दोस्रो गरेर 10 जना नभएसम्म 5 जना सेलेक्ट गर्ने भन्न खोजेको त्यसरी के कुरो बुझ्नुभयो
स्ट्राटाको मिनिङ ग्रुप हो
हामीले ग्रुप नै भन्छौँ सिमिलर ग्रुप के सबसेट
यो वर्ड कहाँबाट आएको राम्रो वर्ड रहेछ
यो अब खै कहाँबाट आएको छ मलाई पनि थाहा छैन है प्रोबेबिलिटीमा जस हामी धेरै युज गर्ने भने स्ट्राटा हुन्छ है सिम्पली सो यसमा चाहिँ के गर्नु पर्यो भने तपाईले पहिला स्टेपमा चाहिँ भेरिएबल
स्लाइड राख्नु न
ओके
भयो
so the step that you need to use while using the stratified sampling भनेको you need to first choose the stratification variable the group variable कुन variables को आधारमा चाहिँ हामीले ग्रुप गर्ने भनेर हामीले थाहा पाउनु पर्यो नि त पहिला त्यो चाहिँ रिसर्चको निड अनुसार मैले आईटी को युजेस अनुसारको ग्रुप अब एआई आईटी अरु कुनै भने ग्रुप गरे अथवा मेल फिमेल जेन्डर वाइज गरे के गरे हैन त्यो भित्रको मेम्बरको क्यारेक्टरिस्टिक्स एउटै हुनु पर्यो भन्ने कुरा मात्रै हो के अहिलेलाई है एउटा यसलाई सम्झिनु अनि अर्को क्लस्टर ठ्याक्क बुझ्न सजिलो हुन्छ त्यसपछि डिभाइड इन्टु डिस्क्रिट स्ट्राटामा फरक ग्रुपहरुमा छुटाउनु पर्यो त्यसपछि हरेक ग्रुप स्ट्राटामलाई चाहिँ युनिक नम्बरहरु दिने अनि त्यो ग्रुपमा चाहिँ ग्रुपबाट चाहिँ के गर्ने र्यान्डम अथवा सिस्टमेटिक र्यान्डम सेलेक्ट गरेर मेम्बर सेलेक्ट गर्ने त्यसरी भन्नु खोज्यो है त्यो अहिलेलाई पोइन्ट वाइज लेखेको सो मुभिङ अन टु द क्लस्टर अब क्लस्टरलाई बुझ्न के गर्नु पर्यो भनेदेखि अघिकोमा मैले के गरेको थिएँ अघिकोमा मैले एउटै ग्रुपभित्र पनि छ नि एउटै ग्रुपभित्र पनि सिमिलर मेम्बर्सहरू राखेको थिएँ तर मैले के गर्न मिल्छ भने एउटै ग्रुपभित्र डिफ्रेन्ट मेम्बरहरू राखेर डिफ्रेन्टको ग्रुपहरू मिलाउनु मिल्छ कि भनेको त्यो अहिलेको अर्गनाइजेसनमा मैले के गरेँ भने बेस्ड अन लोकेसन मात्रै गरेँ लोकेसनभित्र चाहिँ के गरेँ एआई युज गर्ने आइटी युज गर्ने र के गर्ने अर्को कुनै अटोमेसन युज गर्नेलाई एउटा ग्रुप राखेँ फेरि अर्कोमा के गर्छु अर्को लोकेसनमा एआई युज गर्ने आइटी युज गर्ने र अर्को युज गर्नेलाई एउटा ग्रुप राख्छु हो डिफ्रेन्ट मेम्बरहरूको त्यो एउटा डेमोग्राफिक इन्फर्मेसनहरूको बेसिसमा लोकेसन होला साइज होला कुनै अरू प्यारामिटर होला त्यसको बेसिसमा चाहिँ नेचुरली अकरिङ ग्रुपको बेसिसमा चाहिँ मैले सेपरेट गरेँ भने ग्रुपको भित्रको मेम्बरको क्यारेक्टरिस्टिक्स चाहिँ डिफ्रेन्ट हुन्छ हैन डिफ्रेन्ट हुन्छ र त्यसकै बेसिसमा हामीले के गर्छौँ सेलेक्ट गर्छौँ अघि चाहिँ ग्रुपको मेम्बरभित्र चाहिँ एउटै क्यारेक्टरिस्टिक्स बियर गरेको थियो स्ट्राटामा सिमिलर ग्रुप सबसेट भनेर हैन यसमा चाहिँ के गर्छ त्यो भित्रको मेम्बरहरूको क्यारेक्टरिस्टिक्स चाहिँ डिफ्रेन्ट हुन्छ कि त्यसलाई कम्बाइनली गरेर है अनि त्यही अनुसार तपाईँले युज गर्ने क्लस्टर यसमै ग्रुप डिभाइड गर्ने हो उसको जस्तै तर हामीले के गर्छौँ भित्र गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ नेचुरली अकरिङ ग्रुप भनेको छ नि त्यो भनेको त्यो भित्रको मेम्बरको क्यारेक्टरिस्टिक्स चाहिँ डिफ्रेन्ट हुन्छ कि एउटा लोकेसन अनुसार होला साइज अनुसार होला डिस्ट्रिक्ट अनुसार होला कुनै एउटा पार्ट है आफ्नो आफ्नो ऊ अनुसार ठिक छ यो
यसमा झन् बढी टाइम लाग्ने भएछ
यसमा पहिला सिमिलर गरेको थिएँ यसमा डिफ्रेन्ट गर्ने के अब एउटा चक्लेटको बट्टाभित्र डेरी मिल्क हुन्थ्यो नि पहिला अहिले चाहिँ के गर्ने एउटा चक्लेटको बट्टाभित्र डेरी मिल्क किटक्याट सबै एउटा मिक्स हुन्छ अर्कोमा त्यही मिक्स हुन्छ अनि त्यसरी सेलेक्ट गर्ने कि त्यस्तो खाले है क्लस्टरमा चुज द क्लस्टर अनि त्यही अनुसार ठ्याक्कै हामीले के गर्नु यसमा पनि सेम हो त्यो क्लस्टर बनाउनलाई मात्र तपाईँले के गर्नु ग्रुपिङहरू सेलेक्ट गर्नु पर्यो यसमा चाहिँ क्लस्टर भनेको नेचुरली अकरिङ ग्रुप के लिनुहुन्छ त हैन डेमोग्राफिक इन्फर्मेसन भनेको लोकेसन त्यसको साइज होला अथवा क्लाइमेट सर्टेन त्यस्तो नेचुरली अकरिङ त्यस्तो खाले हामी हेर्छौँ कि अथवा भित्र डिफ्रेन्ट हुँदा नि कम्युनिटी सोसाइटीको हिसाबले हैन प्लेसको हिसाबले त्यसरी लिन्छ नि त्यो सिमिलर त्यहाँभित्र एउटा सोसाइटीमा हेर्नु त एउटा सोसाइटी र अर्को सोसाइटी हेर्दा एउटा सोसाइटीमा नि डिफ्रेन्ट कास्टको मान्छे बस्छ अर्को सोसाइटीमा नि डिफ्रेन्ट कास्टको मान्छे बस्छ हैन भनेको डिफ्रेन्ट यो सोसाइटीको भित्रको मेम्बरहरूले डिफ्रेन्ट क्यारेक्टरिस्टिक्सहरू बियर गरेछ अर्कोले नि डिफ्रेन्ट गरेछ अब मैले ए कन्टेक्स्ट अलि स्ट्राटिफाइड भन्थेँ भने के गर्थेँ यो सोसाइटीभित्रको ब्राह्मणलाई एउटामा राख्थेँ क्षेत्रीलाई अर्कोमा राख्थेँ वैश्यलाई अर्कोमा शूद्रलाई अर्कोमा राख्थेँ स्ट्राटामा तर यसमा के गरेँ त्यो सोसाइटी वाइज सेपरेट गरेँ त्यो भएपछि त्यो भित्रको मेम्बरहरूको क्यारेक्टरिस्टिक डिफ्रेन्ट भयो त्यसरी पनि मैले सेलेक्ट गर्न सक्छु है भन्नु होला कि त्यसरी पनि है यहाँसम्म ठिक छ टाइम अलि सकिन लाग्यो मैले अलि फास्ट गरेँ
यस सर सकियो सर टाइम
ओके सो नन प्रोबेबिलिटी स्याम्पलिङ क्यान यु स्टडी बाई योरसेल्फ नन प्रोबेबिलिटी मात्र के हो भने प्रोबेबिलिटी स्याम्पलिङमा म्याथमेटिकल फर्मुला युज गरिन्थ्यो भने नन प्रोबेबिलिटीमा त्यस्तो कुनै स्याम्पलिङ युज गरिँदैन there are certain parameters okay not always the case that you can apply the mathematical formula for selecting the sample there might be the certain reason to use the non probability sampling also okay तो त्यस्तो कन्टेक्स्टहरुमा सबै केसमा तपाईले म्याथमेटिकल स्याम्पल युज गरेर रिप्रेजेन्टेटिभ पार्नलाई सबैको रिप्रेजेन्टेटिभ होस् भनेर गर्दै गर्दाखेरि कहिलेकाहीँ के हुन्छ नन प्रोबेबिलिटी पनि युज गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ जसको नन प्रोबेबिलिटीको एक्जाम्पल भनेको एउटा कोटा तर फिक्स कोटा गर्नुहुन्छ कोटामा जुनसुकै पहिला फर्स्ट कम फर्स्ट सर्भ अथवा के को हिसाबले आउँछन् तिनीलाई सेलेक्ट गर्ने अर्को भनेको स्नोबल स्याम्पलिङ भनेको कस्तो केसमा गरिन्छ भन्दाखेरि मैले ड्रग एडिक्सनको बारेमा स्टडी गर्न खोजेँ ड्रग एडिक्सनहरु त कति छन् त मलाई थाहा छैन नन पपुलेसन छ भन्दै पो मैले प्रोबेबिलिटी स्याम्पलिङ गर्छु त अब नन पपुलेसन छैन भन्देखि त मैले के गर्नु पर्यो भने ड्रग एडिक्सनको बारेमा थाहा पाउन पहिला कुनै एउटा ड्रग एडिक्टलाई क्वेशनर सोध्छु अनि के गर्छु उलाई चाहिँ तिमी जस्तै कुनै एडिक्सनमा फसेको कुनै व्यक्ति छ भनेर अर्को रेस्पोन्डेन्ट चाहिँ त्यो पहिलाको रेस्पोन्डेन्टबाट सेलेक्ट गर्छु उले कुनै के भन्छ रिफर गरिन्छ फेरि म सेकेन्ड रेस्पोन्डेन्टमा जान्छु हो त्यसरी एउटाले अर्कोसँग रिफर गर्दै जाने केसलाई के भन्छ भने न्यू केसहरु आइडेन्टिफाई गर्दै जाने केसलाई चाहिँ स्नोबल स्याम्पलिङ भन्छ है यो केसमा नि अब स्याम्पलिङको साइज के भन्छ डिफाइन हुँदैन किन डिफाइन हुँदैन भने म्याथमेटिक फर्मुला युज गर्न सकिँदैन भने यु आर नट स्योर नि त तपाईलाई स्याम्पलिङको फ्रेम नै थाहा छैन कति जना छन् एडिक्सन भन्ने नै थाहा छैन त्यो नभइकन त हामीले स्याम्पलिङ साइज डिसाइड गर्न सक्दैनौं हो त्यस्तो कन्डिसनमा के गर्ने त भने त्यस्तो कन्डिसनमा नन प्रोबेबिलिटी स्याम्पलिङ युज गर्ने इफ यु आर नट स्योर अबाउट द टार्गेट फ्रेम एन्ड द स्याम्पलिङ साइज ओके स्योर छैन कुनै म्याथमेटिकल फर्मुलाले दिँदैन भने हामीले आइडेन्टिफाई त गर्नु पर्यो आफ्नो कन्भिनियन्स अनुसार मैले 10 जना लिने कि 20 जना लिने भनेर पार्ट एउटा हैन तर सुरुमा प्लान गर्दा तर रियल टाइममा त्यो जाँदै गर्दा नहुन पनि सक्छ एउटा केस तर यसले भनेको नि इफ यु आर नट स्योर अबाउट द टार्गेट पपुलेसन and your sampling size त हामी गर्छौं target population if you are not sure then it is not possible to use the mathematical formula to collect the sample हैन त्यस्तो टेक्निकहरु युज गर्न सकिदैन र्यान्डम स्याम्पलिङहरु यिनहरु युज गर्न सकिदैन त्यस्तो केसमा चाहिँ हामी के गर्छौं नन प्रायोरिटी स्याम्पलिङ युज गर्छौं है त्यसलाई नै भन्छ नन प्रायोरिटी स्याम्पलिङ अर्को नन प्रायोरिटी स्याम्पलिङ छ पर्पोसिभ स्याम्पलिङ एन्ड कन्भिनियन्स त मैले यसलाई राखेको छैन है पर्पोसिभ स्याम्पलिङ भनेको कस्तो भने तपाईले अहिलेको एक्जाम्पलमा मैले र्यान्डम स्याम्पलिङ युज गरेर क्लासको सबैजनासँग लिएर एउटा रिजल्ट निकाल्छु अर्को के गर्न सक्छु भन्देखि मैले चाहिँ आफ्नो साथीहरुलाई मिल्ने साथीहरुलाई मात्रै सोध्न नि सक्छु यदि मैले मिल्ने साथीहरुलाई मात्रै सोधे भने नन प्रायोरिटी स्याम्पलिङ हैन मैले मिल्ने नमिल्ने म के पनि हेर्दिन जुन जो पर्छ र्यान्डमली भनेर भन्यो नि दैट इज प्रायोरिटी स्याम्पलिङ दुईटा केस अब हामीले बेटर बेनिफिट लिनको लागि यु क्यान युज बोथ हामीले दुईटै कम्बाइन गर्न सक्छौं के मैले के पार्ट चाहिँ प्रायोरिटी स्याम्पलिङबाट युज गर्न सक्छु के पार्ट नन प्रायोरिटी स्याम्पलिङबाट पनि युज गर्न सक्छु त्यसलाई मिक्स गर्न सक्छु भनेको जस्तो मेरो 20 पपुलेसन भयो मैले 20 वटा मैले साइज भनेको थिएँ तपाईले प्रायोरिटी स्याम्पलिङ पनि युज गर्नुभयो क्लासबाट 20 जना सेलेक्ट गर्नुभयो तर 20 जनामा 20 जनाले रेस्पोन्स गर्छ भने प्रायोरिटी छ त 20 जनाले तपाईले भने अनुसार आन्सर दिन सक्छन् त एउटा क्वेशन छ नि त छ कि छैन भन्नु त 20 जना त मैले र्यान्डमली सेलेक्ट गरे हो तर आई एम नट स्योर वेदर दे क्यान प्रोभाइड अल द इन्फर्मेसन दैट आई नीड अर नट आई एम नट स्योर फर दैट पार्ट सो त्यो केसमा चाहिँ मैले के गर्न सक्छु भने जजले पहिला दिए ठिकै छ यदि कसैले दिएन क्वेशन कसैले स्किप गर्यो के गर्यो भने मैले अब के गर्नु पर्यो त फेरि र्यान्डम स्याम्पलिङ युज गर्ने हो र त्यो केसमा मैले के गर्छु ड्युरेसन बचाउनको लागि कन्भिनियन्स स्याम्पलिङ नन प्रायोरिटी स्याम्पलिङ अब कसले आन्सर दिन सक्छ त्यसलाई मात्र खोजेर आफ्नो साथीहरुलाई मात्र ल्याएर के गर्छु आन्सर दिन लाउँछु मलाई किनभने त्यो रेस्पोन्स त मलाई चाहियो नि त हो मैले त्यस्तो गोल माइन्डमा राखेर गरे भने कम्बिनेसन अफ बोथ इज द बेस्ट हुन्छ भन्नु खोजे त्यस्तो कन्टेक्स्टमा है म्याथमेटिकल स्याम्पलिङ पनि युज गरे र रेस्पोन्स नआएको खण्डमा यु क्यान युज द नन प्रायोरिटी स्याम्पलिङ अल्सो त्यसरी युज गर्नु भने तपाईको ओभरअल स्याम्पलिङ चाहिँ एकदम के हुन्छ रोबस्ट हुन्छ र मेन अब्जेक्टिभ भनेको के भने यसले रिप्रेजेन्टेटिभ डेटाहरु दियोस् भनेर के सबैले डेटा त दिनै पर्यो हैन अब प्रायोरिटी युज गर्दा सबैले दिन नसक्ने केस नै होला त्यस्तो केसमा चाहिँ हामीले नन प्रायोरिटी स्याम्पलिङ युज गरे पनि गर्न सक्छौं भने दैट इज द केस So are you clear on this part? यहाँसम्म ठीक छ?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I will upload this slide on the file section. Okay, please study, and if you have any confusion, you can ask me. Okay. Otherwise, tomorrow we'll move on the reliability and validity. Okay, or data collection. Which one will comes first? That will do. Okay. You can study any of those. According to syllabus, we'll move that part. So this much for today, and we'll continue our course on tomorrow.